Good morning, Enlightened Living community, my friends. I trust you are well. I am holding that energy for you. I have wanted to get back here sooner to honor my intention to be a source of support and positivity to you to the best of my ability and qualifications. But the last few days, I've been feeling a bit energetically off, like so many. I've been feeling that pull into the collective fear and anger. And if I'm in that space, I'm no good to you. I want to show up grounded with clarity so I can try to be a support to you. That's why I'm here. So I had to take a few days to kind of amp up my mindfulness practice, get out in nature and reground and center. Now, in my last video, I offered you a few thoughts on protecting yourself from the physical effects of a virus epidemic. But I don't think there is enough talk about how to protect ourselves from the non-physical effects. Now, based on what we know about this virus, statistically speaking, it's unlikely to kill the average reasonably healthy person. But the stress and anxiety it's causing most of us and the social disconnection and disorientation may. That's why self-care is more important than ever, and why it's so important that we continue to look for opportunities within this enormous challenge. We are collectively living in our limbic system right now. We're stuck in the fight or flight mode. The constant barrage of negativity is threatening our very survival. At least that's what our amygdala is believing anyway. Our sympathetic nervous system is at a heightened state of arousal. And in the short term, that's a very helpful and potentially life-saving reaction your body has. But long term, it can be deadly. It's very interesting what's happening now, not with regard to the virus, but more with the response, the reaction to this. Now, we're asked to isolate ourselves from all that is familiar and comforting, our routines, our friends, sometimes family members. So in our attempt to find some connection, we naturally turn to social media, which we hope will allow us to find some support, offer support to others, share some positivity and hope. But that's not necessarily what's happening. There appears to be a lot of division, disagreements, lots of fear and panic, which is just feeding into ours. And here's what's happening. You know, there's a lot of narratives out there, and each of us will connect with a narrative that aligns with our own personal paradigms, our beliefs. When we find something that aligns with our belief system, it's what we know to be our truth, so it's familiar and it feels right. For instance, if someone has a personal paradigm, a belief that the world isn't safe, then they will find a narrative that supports that belief. Often, it may be a narrative of despair. Another person with a conditioned belief that their world is safe, that things always work out, they'll align with a narrative that supports that. We resist any idea that threatens our very deeply held beliefs about the world, even if those beliefs aren't serving us, like the world isn't safe. Because there are conditioned beliefs, there are personal truths. We don't know how to operate outside of them. So anything that isn't like them threatens us. And we will argue for our limitations, even if it isn't in the best interest of our well-being. You see that in the way that people get mad if you don't buy into their fear. Their fear needs to be validated in order for them to feel safe. Now, we don't do this consciously. And this is one reason why change can be so hard. We know we have to change deeply held beliefs before we can change or see a change in behavior. So we have people aligned with one particular narrative, and then there are people aligned with a different narrative, and somewhere in the middle, a battle ensues, us against them, my way or the highway, a battle that will never be won, because we will defend our beliefs to our death. Our history is rich with the proof of that. Now, as a hypnotherapist, I am familiar with hypnotic language patterns and techniques used to change or program minds. A belief is a statement or a thought repeated enough times that it begins to create neural connections, synapses that fire together, wire together. And then we have this neural network that becomes our default thinking pattern. It becomes our map of reality. And that's how we developed our beliefs about the world around us. We grew up being told that these people are bad, these people are good, this behavior is appropriate, this isn't. Those that look like us are good, those that don't are not. Someone else's ideas are programmed into our minds, and after repeated enough times, they eventually become our thoughts and create the lenses through which we see the world. Now, it's what I do with my hypnotherapy clients. We take an undesirable behavior, find the thought that generates that behavior, and then we change the thought and the thinking pattern, the neural connection. That's neuroplasticity at work. We do this by using the power of repetition while in the subconscious mind, in a hypnotic state. Do you know one way we naturally enter a hypnotic state? Through strong emotions, any strong emotion, for instance, fear. And when we are in that trance, which has been induced in our case through fear, the thoughts that are being fed to us become our map of reality. We have effectively had our brains rewired to believe something. Now, we see this powerful use of hypnotic language in advertising, marketing, media, and politics, used as a means, of course, to buy a product or to believe what is being said. One of the rules of mind is the longer you think thoughts, the stronger they become. Whatever you are giving your attention to is an activated thought. The only way to consciously deactivate a thought is to activate another. In other words, the only way to deliberately withdraw your attention from one thought is to give your attention to another thought, maybe from a negative thought to a positive thought. When you give your attention to anything, the energy at first isn't very strong. But if you continue to think about it or speak about it or listen to it, the energy gets stronger. So with repeat attention on any thought, it can become a dominant thought. As you give more and more attention to any thought, and as you focus upon it and therefore practice the energy of it, the thought becomes an even bigger part of your energy. And you can now call this practice thought a belief. This is how panic attacks, anxiety develops. Your attention to it invites it deeper into your psyche. Every thought that you give your attention to expands and becomes a bigger part of your vibrational mix. Whether it's a thought of something you want or a thought of something you don't want, your attention to it invites it into your experience. So, we now have thoughts of fear surrounding us, a high vibration of fear. And we're in this heightened state of arousal, which, again, if we stay too long in, is very damaging to our health at a time when we need to be doing everything we can to strengthen our bodies, to support it in doing what it was designed to do, which is fight invaders. Strengthen our bodies' natural defense mechanisms so that when, not if, but when we come into contact with this virus, our strong bodies fight it easily. We develop antibodies and then a natural immunity. We're stockpiling toilet paper when we need to be stockpiling immune-boosting strategies. But if we're worn down by stress or bad lifestyle habits, we weaken our body's ability to properly fight the invaders. So how do we take back control of our bodies and minds? How do we switch from the activated sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight mode, into the parasympathetic, the rest and digest mode, so that our bodies can strengthen and our minds find some peace and some equanimity? Well, the first thing, again, turn off the news. Turn off the attempts to hypnotize you into fear. Take back control of your mind. Tune out and turn in. You are stronger than you believe, and you have resources that you may not yet be aware of. This is an excellent time to learn something about yourself. What are your conditioned beliefs? Maybe some limiting paradigms. What thoughts aren't serving you? How are you viewing the world? You have an opportunity now, as you recognize them, to change them, to rewire your brain toward health-producing thoughts. You have the authority to choose any story that brings you peace of mind. There are a lot of people predicting a future for you, but no one can predict the future. But you can create a future in your mind, one that makes you feel better, one that brings you hope and comfort. See and expect a future that empowers you. What do you want to see? That this will be over soon? That we will all be fine? that you and those you love are safe and healthy, that your community is thriving. Create a vision in your mind that makes you feel good, because what your mind thinks, your body believes. Take care of yourself. Self-care means getting out of bed in the morning and showering, dressing. Many of us are neglecting that because we feel like we're not going to see anybody, so why bother? But it will make you feel better. In my last video, we talked about the diet and supplements that will support your immune health. We also discussed the healing power of sleep. 2 to 3 hours before bed, turn off all digital stimuli. Read something uplifting. Listen to relaxing music. Maybe do a gentle yoga practice. You don't want any negativity in your mind to be the last thing in there as you drift off, as it will disturb a restful, healing sleep. Adopt a mindfulness practice if you don't already have one. Now is the perfect time to learn meditation. The research in meditation and its psycho-emotional and physiological benefits show without a doubt how powerful this practice is. And there are thousands of resources out there for you. Go and find some meditation practices. Now is the time, you've got the time to learn visualization, relaxation, meditation. Give yourself small breaks throughout the day to turn off distractions, relax, and breathe. You already possess one of the most powerful tools for calming your nervous system, your breathing. Well, our breathing has a direct link, a direct connection to the nervous system. When you are in an aroused state, the fight or flight state, your breathing will be rapid and shallow. Your heart will beat faster, your blood pressure rises, your digestion is disrupted. You can activate the parasympathetic nervous system by slowing and deepening the breath, especially the exhalations. When the breath slows, the heart rate slows, and you feel a sense of safety. Try gently inhaling to the count of 4, pausing for a count of 2, and then exhaling to a count of 6. Do several rounds of this until you feel your body and mind settling down. This will have an effect on your physiology. Checking in throughout the day, taking a mini breathing breaks so you can regulate your nervous system. You have the power and the ability to control your breathing, and that will affect your nervous system, which has a direct effect on your emotions. And remember, adversity breeds resiliency and creativity. As you turn in, you will discover things about yourself and perhaps find a gift in all of this. You are made for this, and you have the power of your mind to support and improve your health. Protect it. I'm wishing you peace, love, and light. Stay strong, stay well, stay positive, and I'll see you soon.